The sky above Earth was unusually still that morning. Satellites in low orbit drifted lazily across the pale blue planet, their solar panels gleaming in the sunlight. Yet, far beyond the orbit of Pluto, massive shapes moved silently, their hulls reflecting the distant glow of the sun. For centuries, humanity had looked at the stars with curiosity, wondering what lay beyond. But now, for the first time, the stars seemed to be looking back, watching, judging, and deciding. The Galactic Empire had arrived. No one on Earth truly understood the Empire's scale. Stories of its power circulated quietly in scientific journals and among fringe theorists, but the governments of Earth dismissed them as exaggeration. After all, why would an empire that controlled millions of star systems bother with a small, isolated planet that had only just discovered interstellar flight? Yet now, those rumors were manifesting in the cold reality of massive ships moving with calculated precision toward the solar system. In the United Nations headquarters in New York, the room buzzed with tension. Representatives from every nation had gathered in an emergency session, their usual debates set aside. On the massive screen at the front of the room, satellite feeds displayed the Empire's fleet. Dozens of enormous ships, each the size of a small city, their surfaces shimmering with alien alloys. Dr. Elias Navarro, a physicist from the European Space Agency, stared at the images, his fingers tapping nervously on the table. Their energy signatures are off the charts. Whatever drives those ships is beyond anything we have, maybe even beyond anything we've imagined. These are not exploration vessels. They are war machines. Why haven't they attacked yet? Fear had a way of spreading faster than any virus, especially when the threat was from beings who could likely destroy humanity with ease. But in the middle of that fear, a quiet voice spoke up, reserved, calm, almost unnerving in its steadiness. "I disagree," said Commander Aidan Cross, head of the United Earth Defense Initiative. He stood tall, his uniform impeccable, his expression unreadable. "We are not insignificant. We are humans. We are adaptive, inventive, and resilient, and for the first time in history, the galaxy will see it. They think they can intimidate us with their size, their technology, their weapons. But we will show them something they've never seen before. We will not cower. We will not plead. We will give them one warning, one statement they cannot ignore. We will tell them in every language they understand that Earth is not theirs to take." It was a strange mix of hope and disbelief, the kind that comes only when people realize they might be standing on the edge of something far greater than themselves. Meanwhile, far above the Atlantic Ocean, satellites began transmitting signals to relay stations, spreading encrypted messages to every government facility, research lab, and military base on the planet. Humanity had 24 hours to prepare, not for war, not yet, but for the declaration that would define its place in the universe. In the early hours, Earth scientists worked tirelessly, tapping into every resource available. Engineers modified orbital satellites, connecting them into a vast network capable of sending signals across interstellar distances. Astronomers calculated trajectories, ensuring that humanity's first message would reach the Empire's fleet in time. Technicians tested frequencies and encoded the warning in every known alien dialect, while also creating a simple, universal form of communication. A combination of light, sound, and energy pulses that could be understood even if the language failed. By nightfall, humanity's message was ready. Across the planet, millions watched as television screens and public displays turned silent, replaced by a single, simple transmission. A voice, calm, firm, unmistakably human, spoke in every language simultaneously. It was Commander Cross. "People of the Galactic Empire," the message began, "we have observed your arrival. We have studied your fleet, your ships, and your tactics. We are not weak. We are not unprepared. We are humans, and this is our planet. Stay away from Earth. This is your only warning." The Empire's fleet, hundreds of millions of kilometers away, slowed its approach as communications officers relayed the warning up the chain of command. On the command bridge of the flagship Eclipse, Admiral Threx studied the message. He was an imposing figure, his scales reflecting the dim glow of the ship's console. For centuries, he had led fleets that crushed worlds beneath his thumb. He had seen planets surrender, entire civilizations bow to the Empire's will without a fight. And yet, for the first time, a planet had spoken to him with defiance. Threx did not shout. He did not scowl. He did not immediately order a strike. Instead, he studied the transmission with curiosity, and for the first time in his career, he felt unease. "Admiral," said his communications officer, a sleek humanoid with silver eyes, "they are threatening us. The message is clear. They are not inviting negotiation. Prepare for engagement if necessary, but I want to know exactly what these humans are capable of before we act." For the first time, humanity had acted not as divided nations, but as a single species. For the first time, Earth had spoken with one voice, and that voice had said something no one had ever dared before. "We will not be taken." Maps of the solar system were projected across the walls, with every alien ship tracked in real time. Cross did not speak in the usual military jargon. Instead, he focused on the truth. "They are testing us," he said, "and they will continue to test us, but our warning has done something crucial. It has made them hesitate. They think they understand us, but they do not. They have underestimated human creativity, our unpredictability. That is the advantage we hold." And yet there was a strange, almost palpable energy in the room, a sense that the impossible was not only possible but within reach. In the skies above, the Empire's scouts began to alter course, sending tiny vessels closer to Earth to observe the defenses, but avoiding any direct confrontation. On the ground, humanity prepared. Engineers, scientists, and military personnel worked side by side, not in fear, but in determination. Each satellite, each sensor, each communication relay was part of a network designed not just to defend, but to announce humanity's ingenuity and resolve. Late that night, as Commander Cross walked along the empty halls of the United Earth Defense Initiative headquarters, he paused to look at the stars through the large observation window. The distant lights of alien ships shimmered faintly against the darkness. A small smile touched his face, not of arrogance, but of understanding. Humanity had taken its first step into the larger galaxy, and it had done so on its own terms. A voice crackled over the comm system, breaking the quiet. "Sir, we're receiving signals from the scouts. They're analyzing our systems. It's almost as if they are surprised by our capabilities. Let them realize that humans are not so easily intimidated. One warning was all they would get, and we will be ready for whatever comes next." And for the first time, he wondered if the Empire had misjudged an entire planet. The warning had been sent. The challenge had been made. And in the silence that followed, one truth became clear across the galaxy: humanity would not bow. The stars above Earth shimmered in the stillness of space, but they no longer seemed empty. Somewhere out there, millions of kilometers away, the Galactic Empire was watching, calculating, and beginning to understand that a planet they had assumed to be weak might be far stronger than they had ever imagined. And for the people of Earth, the night was quiet, but it was not afraid. For the first time, they had spoken across the void, and the universe had listened. The next move was coming, and humanity would be ready. The first scout ships arrived just before dawn. Tiny against the backdrop of the solar system, they moved with quiet precision, gliding past Jupiter's orbit as if testing the waters. On Earth, the early warning systems, an intricate web of satellites, sensors, and space telescopes, picked up every movement. The data flowed into the United Earth Defense Initiative Command Center, where analysts watched, calculated, and waited. Commander Aiden Cross stood before the main display, eyes scanning the incoming fleet. "Scouts only," he said calmly. "They want to see how we respond. They believe we are weak. They will soon learn that assumption is their first mistake. We fight smart." The aim was simple: show strength without initiating violence, a principle the Human Council had insisted upon. The scouts entered Earth's outer defense perimeter. Automated sensors identified them, and for a moment the world seemed to hold its breath. Earth's response was immediate but measured. Energy pulses flashed from hidden orbital arrays, brushing past the alien ships without direct contact. The scouts' sensors flickered, their propulsion systems briefly destabilized. One ship wavered, unable to maintain a straight course. The aliens reacted quickly. On the bridge of the scout flagship, a slender officer with iridescent scales hissed, "What is this? Our systems are malfunctioning. This planet, it is interfering with our technology. Every move they make is recorded, analyzed, and countered. They are learning the hard way that humans do not follow predictable patterns." Earth's interference systems created false signals, confusing the alien sensors, while orbital drones moved in silent coordination, ready to intercept any reckless maneuver. In a flash, humanity demonstrated its ingenuity. One scout ship, overconfident, tried to accelerate past Mars. A well-timed burst from an orbital weapon destabilized its propulsion, forcing it to drift in a wide arc. Another scout attempting to scan Earth's surface suddenly lost communication with the fleet. Its systems rebooted repeatedly, while analysts on Earth monitored the effects, calculating the exact impact of each human adjustment. "Impressive," muttered Dr. Elias Navarro, watching the tactical displays. "They think they are superior. But we have predicted and prepared for every possible scenario." Some officers argued that the planet was too dangerous to engage directly. Others dismissed the scouts' troubles as minor setbacks, believing a full assault would easily crush humanity. Back on Earth, the human leadership prepared for the next step. The scouts had tested one layer of defense. Next, humanity would demonstrate strategic control over the battlefield. Using a combination of satellite-guided drones and carefully calculated energy pulses, humans orchestrated maneuvers that made it appear as if Earth had more firepower than it truly did. Each move was designed to intimidate, to show capability without unnecessary destruction. For hours, the alien scouts probed, circled, and scanned. Each time they tried to advance, they were met with calculated resistance. They had never encountered a species that could anticipate their moves so accurately or manipulate technology in such unexpected ways. On the bridge of the scout flagship, the officer hissed again. "They are anticipating us. Every step we take, every scan we run, this planet responds before we can even act." "Perhaps we underestimated them," Threx said softly. His voice carried through the council chambers. "Prepare for closer observation. Let us see the limits of their capabilities. But caution, if we act rashly, we may suffer losses that we cannot afford." The scouts, now wary, had begun small attacks. Laser pulses meant to test Earth's energy shields, minor electronic disruptions to gauge the planet's defenses. Humanity responded with surgical precision, intercepting every minor threat while ensuring no alien life was lost. The goal was not destruction, but demonstration. Children in classrooms watched live feeds, seeing alien ships dance in the skies above distant planets. Scientists in laboratories tracked every movement, calculating probabilities and outcomes. Soldiers in bunkers and satellites controlled drones that moved like chess pieces, executing strategies that combined science, mathematics, and human intuition. Cross observed the operations on his tablet, noting the small victories. "Every move they make teaches us something," he said to Major General Corps. "They test us. They assume we will panic or falter, but humans, we adapt in ways they cannot predict." Engineers in Japan coordinated with scientists in Brazil, who shared data with officers in Europe. Communication flowed, decisions were made quickly, and the entire planet acted as one organism, intelligent, creative, and fearless. The scouts' captain reported back. "Their coordination is unlike anything we have observed. They act as one, yet each unit has independent decision-making. They respond faster than we can predict. We may have underestimated them." Beams of light illuminated the atmosphere, moving in patterns designed to show energy manipulation capabilities, while orbital drones formed formations that mimicked strategic attacks. Alien sensors picked up signals they could not fully decipher, forcing the Empire to consider that Earth's potential extended far beyond the apparent limits of its technology. Analysts on Earth monitored reactions from the scouts. Patterns of hesitation, confusion, and recalculation suggested that the aliens were beginning to respect humanity's ingenuity, even if they did not yet fully understand it. Cross knew this was only the beginning. "They will test again," he said. "Larger fleets, more aggressive maneuvers, but we have made our point. Earth is not defenseless. Earth is not weak. They will remember this warning." Others insisted that Earth could still be subdued with a full-scale attack. The debate was fierce, but one thought echoed among the cautious. Humans were unlike any species the Empire had encountered. They were dangerous not because of power, but because of ingenuity. On Earth, the night ended with quiet celebration, though it was tempered by awareness of the coming challenges. Humanity had survived the first test. They had proven that they could defend themselves, that they could anticipate and counter an enemy far more advanced than themselves. But the war was far from over. The Empire would not be satisfied with scouts alone. They would return, bringing fleets and weapons designed to overwhelm. Still, for the first time, Earth's people slept with a sense of pride. Across the planet, children dreamed of stars and possibilities. Scientists continued their work late into the night. Soldiers reviewed strategies. Leaders understood that this was a turning point, a moment when humanity had declared without ambiguity that they would stand as one species, united against threats from the galaxy. Commander Cross stood once more in the observation room, gazing at the stars. The scout ships, now retreating slightly, left trails of light across the void, silent evidence of the first encounter. He did not celebrate, there was no time for complacency. But he allowed himself a thought that few had dared before. Humanity could survive. Humanity could fight. Humanity could make the galaxy understand that Earth was not a planet to be conquered. And somewhere in the Empire, Admiral Threx received the final report from the scouts. He read it carefully, his mind turning over every detail. "Prepare the council," he said. "Humans are different. We must decide carefully. Underestimating them could cost us more than we ever imagined." The first encounter was over, but the battle for recognition, for respect, and for survival had only just begun. The alarms rang across Earth's orbital command centers as the first signals reached the planet. The Empire was sending a fleet. Not scouts, not reconnaissance vessels, but the real fleet. Massive warships, bristling with weapons, each the size of a city, moved through the darkness between Mars and Jupiter. Earth's people had seen images of them before, but nothing could prepare anyone for the sheer scale. Commander Aiden Cross stood before the main display in the United Earth Defense Initiative headquarters. His expression was calm, almost serene, though the tension in the room was palpable. Scientists, engineers, and military leaders from every nation had gathered once again. The previous encounter had tested humanity's ingenuity, but this fleet was the Empire's show of power. "They're coming," Cross said simply. "And this time they intend to overwhelm us, but remember what we have. Remember what we are. Humans are unpredictable. We adapt. We survive. And we will show them that Earth is not theirs to take. With precision, planning, and unity. Every satellite, every orbital weapon, every drone and sensor will work as one. We will make them think twice. We will fight smarter, not just harder." "They are prepared," he said quietly, almost to himself. "They are not panicking. They have defenses, and they know how to use them." Earth did not attack immediately. It did not need to. The presence of these systems and the coordination behind them was enough to force the Empire's fleet to pause. Cross issued the first orders. "Deploy the intercept drones, begin interference protocols on their communications and propulsion. Track every vessel. Let them realize that every move they make is being countered." One scout captain had remarked earlier that humans were unpredictable. Now, with the main fleet approaching, that unpredictability became deadly. Drones moved in coordinated formations that created illusions of multiple attack vectors. Shields adjusted dynamically, forcing the Empire to recalculate their attack patterns constantly. On Earth, scientists monitored everything, feeding real-time data to Cross. "They're adjusting to our interference," said Dr. Elias Navarro. "But every time they do, we have prepared a countermeasure. They cannot anticipate everything. Their tactics are linear. Ours are fluid." An Empire warship attempted to break through with a direct energy strike. Human orbital weapons fired in synchronization, redirecting the attack harmlessly into space, while simultaneously sending a precise pulse to disable part of the alien ship's navigation system. The alien vessel wobbled, struggling to maintain formation, and for the first time a ripple of concern passed through the Empire fleet. Admiral Threx's voice was calm but firm. "Adjust attack formations. Do not underestimate them. One ship disabled is a warning, but they may have more tricks." Each alien advance was met with a calculated human response, each maneuver countered before it could succeed. The humans were not relying on brute force. They were controlling the battlefield. The aliens attempted a different tactic, electronic jamming to disable human communication and navigation systems. For a moment, some satellites experienced minor glitches. But the humans had prepared for this. Redundant systems kicked in, automated drones corrected errors in real time, and counter-jamming measures disabled the interference before it could escalate. "Impressive," Navarro muttered. "They think technology alone wins wars, but humans have always fought with something more: creativity, improvisation, and cooperation. They underestimated us. They assumed fear and chaos would follow, but humans, we don't break easily." Simultaneously, orbital weapons fired bursts designed to destabilize enemy propulsion, forcing several ships to retreat temporarily. The humans had learned from the scouts' encounters and were now orchestrating a symphony of defense across the solar system. Admiral Threx observed the destruction of one of his warships, a rare loss for the Empire. He frowned. This planet, it is clever. Too clever, we cannot simply overwhelm them. The aliens found themselves unable to predict the movements of the drones, the shifts of energy shields, or the calculated responses to their attacks. Each failed strike cost them valuable time and resources, forcing them to second-guess their own strategies. Cross walked among the analysts, speaking softly but with authority. They expect panic. They expect fear. But humans do not respond that way. We anticipate, we adjust, and we act with precision. That is why we are winning without risking unnecessary destruction. This is not brute force. This is intelligence in action. But once again, they miscalculated. Humans had automated defenses ready. Satellites moved unpredictably, deploying countermeasures that forced boarding ships to abort. The aliens had never faced a species that used technology in such adaptable, strategic ways. On the surface, the world watched in awe. News broadcasts showed live simulations of alien fleets maneuvering around the solar system, struggling against invisible barriers and unpredictable defenses. For the first time, people felt hope and pride instead of terror. Humanity was showing the galaxy its true strength, its mind, and its unity. Admiral Threx called for a council meeting aboard the flagship. They are different from any species we have faced. Their tactics are unpredictable. We have the advantage in power, yet they fight without fear, without error. They are learning faster than we anticipated. Every ship we lose weakens us. Every miscalculation emboldens them. We are facing a species that has not only adapted but anticipates. Proceed without caution, and we risk a defeat we cannot recover from. But humanity had proven something critical. They could withstand the might of the Empire and still respond intelligently. The stakes were high, but humans had shown that fear was not their guide. Intelligence was. As the alien fleet began to retreat slightly, reassessing its strategy, Cross allowed himself a moment to observe the solar system. Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn now glinted with the light of orbital defenses. Drones moved with precision, shields hummed with energy, and humans had maintained control over the battlefield. This is only the beginning, Cross said quietly to Major General Kor. They will return with more ships, more weapons, but now they know they cannot take us lightly. Now they know Earth is not an easy target. Reports emphasize the unexpected nature of human strategy, the efficiency of their defenses, and the unpredictable ways in which they countered attacks. A debate began. Was it worth the effort to conquer a planet that had already proven it could withstand the Empire's might? Some suggested retreat, others urged caution, but one thought echoed across the council. Humans were far more dangerous than anyone had predicted. Cross watched the stars from the observation deck that night. The fleet had pulled back, but it was not gone. Humanity had survived the first real strike, had demonstrated its ability to defend its planet, and had earned respect through intellect and coordination rather than brute force. And somewhere in the darkness, Admiral Threx realized a truth that chilled even him. These humans were not ordinary. They were clever, united, and utterly fearless. They were a species the Empire could not easily dominate, and perhaps, for the first time, the galaxy had encountered a civilization it could not predict. The battle was over, but the war was just beginning. The first strike had failed. Humanity had survived. And the message to the galaxy was clear. Earth would not be taken without a fight, and humanity would fight with everything it had, using intelligence, creativity, and unity as its greatest weapons. The stars above shimmered with distant light, and Earth remained vigilant, ready for whatever the Empire might attempt next. The morning light spilled over the horizon, touching the oceans and cities of Earth with calm brilliance. But on every continent, military command centers, research labs, and government buildings were alive with tension. The Galactic Empire had retreated from its first strike, but they had not disappeared. Instead, they were sending emissaries, hoping to open dialogue and perhaps secure submission without further battle. Commander Aiden Cross stood in the observation room, watching the approaching ships on the screens. Unlike the scouts or the first wave of warships, these vessels moved slowly, deliberately, almost cautiously. They were not attacking. They were approaching Earth to communicate, and that was a dangerous development. The Empire was trying a different tactic, diplomacy, tempered with intimidation. Major General Linda Kor stepped up beside him. "Sir, what if they are trying to trick us? They might hide weapons or prepare a sudden strike while we negotiate." This is no different. People of Earth, he began, we have observed your planet. You are resourceful, but you are not a match for the Galactic Empire. Surrender peacefully and you will be spared. Resist and the consequences will be severe. Let them continue. We respond not with fear, but with clarity. And we respond with this truth: Earth is not yours. Humanity is united, and we will protect our planet at all costs. Any aggression against Earth will be met with overwhelming resistance. Consider this our final warning. Drones moved in formations that mimicked fleet maneuvers, while energy pulses projected into space hinted at technology the Empire could not fully understand. Threx observed the display aboard his flagship. His eyes narrowed. They are showing us not fear, not submission, but confidence. Their energy management and coordination, it is precise, calculated. They have more control over the battlefield than we imagined. Humanity was not only defending, but controlling the perception of power. In the United Nations, leaders discussed the Empire's motives. Some urged restraint, fearing that showing strength might provoke a larger attack. Others argued that the galaxy only respected power and humanity could not afford to appear weak. Cross addressed the Council, his tone firm. The Empire is calculating risk. They fear what they cannot predict. They are testing whether we are clever enough to survive. By showing unity, intelligence, and strategic restraint, we force them to negotiate from a position of caution. We do not need to fire a weapon to demonstrate strength. Our unity is our greatest defense. Submit peacefully, Threx's voice warned, and we may allow your species to exist under our protection. Resist, and you will face destruction beyond imagining. Humanity survives and thrives through intelligence. Communications and propulsion interference systems activated in precise sequences, causing alien sensors to misread distances, speeds, and energy outputs. The Empire's War Council began to debate the situation. Some argued that Earth should be destroyed immediately, before humans could develop even more dangerous technology. Others feared the unpredictability of humans, realizing that every action they took against the planet could be met with unexpected consequences. Admiral Threx spoke calmly, his words cutting through the debate. We face a species unlike any we have encountered. They do not fear us. They do not beg. They act with foresight, coordination, and intelligence. We may have underestimated them. One wrong decision could cost us more than any single victory is worth. Humanity had learned from the scouts, from the strike fleet, and now they were demonstrating the full extent of their capabilities without firing a single destructive shot. Dr. Navarro explained to the Council, we do not need to destroy them to show strength. The interference patterns, the energy projections, the strategic movement of drones, they are signals of capability. They tell the Empire that Earth cannot be taken lightly. They tell the Empire that any aggression would be costly and unpredictable. The Empire must understand that attacking Earth is not worth the risk. Even the civilians of Earth became part of the demonstration. Satellites projected coordinated light shows visible from cities around the world. News networks displayed simulations of fleet maneuvers, showing humanity's preparedness and strategic thinking. People watched with awe as Earth's defenses operated in flawless unison, a testament to global cooperation. For Admiral Threx, the displays were unsettling. He had commanded fleets that crushed worlds without resistance. He had never faced a species that could so effectively demonstrate capability without striking first. The humans were not simply defending, they were communicating their potential and forcing the Empire to respect it. Threx called another council meeting. This planet is unlike any other. Their strategy is intelligence multiplied by unity. They are not merely reacting, they are controlling the situation. I recommend we proceed with caution, or we risk losses that may change the balance of power across several systems. They are beginning to respect us not through fear but through recognition of capability. This is what I wanted. We show them our strength without cruelty. We show them unity, intelligence, and resolve. They will think twice before returning. Each proposal was carefully considered, then rejected politely but firmly. Humanity would not beg, would not surrender, and would not appear weak. Finally, a decision was made aboard the Empire's flagship. Threx addressed his officers. We will retreat for now. This planet is more capable than we anticipated. Further engagement without careful planning could be catastrophic. We leave to study them, to learn, and perhaps return when we have a better understanding. But make no mistake, are not defenseless. They are dangerous, not in raw power, but in ingenuity, strategy, and cohesion. Humanity had not fired a single planet-destroying weapon, yet it had won a victory through intelligence and unity. Across the globe, people celebrated quietly, aware that the war was not over, but proud that Earth had stood together. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel continued preparations, knowing that the galaxy was watching and that future encounters were inevitable. Humanity had demonstrated its ability to defend its planet, control the battlefield, and negotiate from a position of strength. Cross walked along the observation deck, looking at the stars where the Empire's fleet had once hovered. "They will return," he said softly. "But now they understand Earth is not a target to be taken lightly, and when they come back, we will be ready. Not just with weapons, but with intelligence, coordination, and determination. They will remember this day." Humanity had faced an empire, demonstrated its strength without destruction, and proven that intelligence, unity, and resolve were its greatest weapons. Somewhere in the depths of space, Admiral Threx continued to study the humans, recognizing for the first time that a species could be more dangerous than brute force alone could measure. The Empire had retreated, but the knowledge of human capability would remain, a warning that would echo across systems, shaping future encounters for decades to come. And on Earth, the message was clear. Humanity had negotiated not with submission, but with strength. It had shown the galaxy that Earth would not bend, would not fear, and would not be underestimated. The day had been won, not through violence, but through strategy, intelligence, and unity. The stars above shimmered silently, bearing witness to the emergence of a new truth in the galaxy. Earth was a planet that demanded respect, and humanity had earned it without firing a single destructive shot. But even as the planet celebrated, Commander Cross knew this was only a moment of calm. The Empire would return, perhaps stronger, more cautious, more prepared. Humanity had won a battle, but the war for recognition, survival, and respect in the galaxy was only beginning. The next moves would require vigilance, creativity, and unity. And humanity, clever, resilient, and united, was ready for them. The sun rose over Earth, spilling golden light across oceans and mountains, forests and cities, yet the planet itself seemed to hold its breath. For weeks, humanity had demonstrated its strength, ingenuity, and unity against the Galactic Empire. The scouts had been repelled, the first strike fleet had failed, and diplomacy had only reinforced one clear message: Earth would not surrender. Commander Aiden Cross stood in the United Earth Defense Initiative headquarters, observing the orbital displays. The Empire's emissary vessels had retreated beyond Jupiter, and for the first time the humans had a moment of calm. Yet Cross knew the galaxy was not patient. The Empire would return, but they would return on terms set by Earth. Dr. Elias Navarro joined him at the observation console. "They're sending new signals," he said. "Analysis shows it's not a threat. They want to communicate." "Let's hear what they have to say." "We will not attack. We will continue to defend our planet and our people. But let it be clear, humanity seeks no war. We seek survival, freedom, and the chance to prove our worth to the galaxy on our own terms. Others will notice your defiance and your capacity to protect your home." News broadcasts, social media, and public announcements celebrated a victory unlike any other. A small, fragile planet had stood up to the galaxy and emerged unscathed. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel received recognition not just for defense, but for demonstrating that intelligence, planning, and unity could challenge even overwhelming power. In orbit, satellites hummed quietly, orbital defenses still active but unmoving. Drones rested in standby formation, and energy shields pulsed faintly, a silent reminder that Earth remained vigilant. The battle had been won not with destruction, but with strategy, intelligence, and coordination. Humanity had rewritten the rules. The galaxy would now see Earth not as a weak planet, but as a clever, resilient one. Cross met with the Global Council to discuss next steps. "We cannot afford complacency," he said. "The Empire has recognized our capabilities, but other civilizations will be watching. They will test us in ways we cannot yet imagine. Our strength lies not just in our defenses, but in our ability to adapt, innovate, and act as one species. The planet is clever, resilient, and unified. They have technology we cannot fully understand, and their strategy is unpredictable. I advise caution. They are not an enemy to conquer lightly. They are a species to respect. Let them remain free. Let them learn. Let them continue to demonstrate their intelligence. One day they may become a worthy ally or a formidable adversary, but for now we retreat. We have stood together as one species. We have defended our home without surrender or fear. Let this be a lesson to the galaxy. Earth will not be taken lightly. Scientists and engineers returned to their labs, energized by the knowledge that their work had protected millions and demonstrated the power of human ingenuity. Even as celebrations continued, Cross remained vigilant. He knew that recognition did not guarantee safety. The Empire would watch, other civilizations would take note, and humanity's future would be full of challenges. But for the first time, Earth had proven that it could stand alone in the galaxy. Weeks later, humanity began preparations for the future. Scientists developed more advanced defensive systems, engineers refined energy manipulation technology, and military strategists studied tactics that combined predictive analytics with real-time decision-making. The message to the galaxy was clear. Earth was prepared, intelligent, and united. At night, Cross often walked along the observation deck looking at the stars. The Empire had retreated, but their presence lingered in human consciousness. Every flicker of distant light, every new object detected in the vastness of space reminded him that humanity was no longer alone and that it had to remain vigilant. Dr. Navarro joined him one evening, gazing at a distant star cluster. "Do you think they'll ever underestimate us again?" he asked. Cross shook his head. "I doubt it. They've seen what we can do when we act together. They've learned that humans are clever, adaptable, and resilient. We've set a standard, and that standard will be remembered not just by the Empire, but by every civilization that watches." Humanity had survived, not by surrendering, not by hiding, but by standing together, thinking ahead, and demonstrating the true strength of their species. Across the universe, news of Earth's defiance spread. Civilizations far beyond the Empire's reach began to whisper about the planet where humans had stood against the might of an interstellar power and survived. Earth had earned respect through intelligence, courage, and unity, the hallmarks of a species that would not be taken lightly. Commander Cross stood once more at the observation deck. The stars twinkled like distant eyes watching Earth, curious, cautious, respectful. The Empire had retreated, but the galaxy had learned a lesson. Humanity was not weak, and Earth was not to be trifled with. And as he watched the world below, bustling with life, progress, and hope, Cross felt a quiet satisfaction. Humanity had faced the galaxy and had survived. They had earned respect without firing a single destructive shot, and they had shown that intelligence, creativity, and unity were their greatest weapons. The war was not over. The galaxy would continue to challenge them, but Earth was ready. Humans had proven that even a single planet, united and clever, could stand against forces far beyond its size. The stars were no longer just distant lights. They were the beginning of a story that humanity would write with every act of ingenuity, courage, and cooperation. The planet had survived, the people had triumphed, and the galaxy had taken notice. For the first time in history, humanity was truly recognized among the stars. And Earth, united and strong, would continue to be a force to be reckoned with.